What's up, guys? It's Steven from Cymatics here, and welcome to episode 11 of the show. We have finally passed double digits, which is super nice. Exactly where I wanted to be with this show, on pace for releasing something every single day. Unfortunately, I had a few things going on, and we were ahead of schedule by like 2 episodes, but like this one I'm shooting is going to be uploaded in a couple hours. So Sam here has to hustle out the editing to knock that out. But yeah, what's going on? If you haven't checked out Life yet, so Life has been a huge success right now. I think we got like 9,000 downloads in like 12 hours or something like that. So that was pretty incredible. A lot of people really enjoying that. We released a lo-fi collection. People thought that was awesome as well. So I'm pretty pumped about the way that stuff is going. Drew spent a lot of time traveling the world to get that pack ready for you guys. So I think that's awesome. Is there any other announcements? I was trying to think there was something. Oh, the MIDI fighter. So, guys, I've actually been inspired by Sean Wasabi. So he is the guy who takes the
Today, Junior?
The MIDI fighter, okay, which is a little like MIDI controller essentially that's inspired off Japanese video games. And Drew's been like kind of pitching at me to get one because in my life I used to play Dance Dance Revolution, Guitar Hero, Stepmania, Beat Saber. Every single game where I have to tap essentially to like match up notes and stuff in those games, I'm really fucking good at. Like I literally can play on expert on almost every single one of those games and all the hardest songs. It's kind of a weird skill I have. But it's funny that the way they designed that thing is actually designed off of Japanese gaming, and it's a really, really sweet looking device. So I decided to get one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 30-day before and after. I'm going to be like, look, I bought a MIDI fighter, and here's what happened after 30 days. And I'm going to show day one where I probably suck, and then I'm just going to practice every night and see what I can do. So I'm pretty excited about getting that thing in the mail. I don't know when it's coming. Hopefully I can make some cool mashups or something. But yeah, other than that, I think that's it. Oh, we got some new microphones, some new lighting gear for the show. Drew's actually going to start coming over in the morning. We're going to start enjoying a cup of coffee, start shooting the shit. So I'm really excited because Kato's episode, I really love the tone of it. Like being able to actually talk with somebody else and stuff, I mean, gives me a chance to break and not talk all the time. It gives like polar opinions and stuff. And I think the conversational tone adds a lot to the show. So in the future, I'm going to try and get as much as that as humanly possible because I think it really adds a lot. But other than that, let's get into the show.
Hi Steven, my question for you today is how do you make content when you're a DJ producer and you don't know what type of content you can make on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, only like putting preview of tracks or sound design that you make? Thank you.
All right, Jason. So first off, within seconds of seeing this, I already see you got a project up in the background. Looks like you're doing some fancy stuff. If you're trying to figure out what sort of content to make, like the first thing you should do is kind of like honestly like copy more people. Go look at other industries. Go look at my Instagram, Drew's Instagram, other producer Instagrams. Go look at as many different people as possible. And then what you can do is you should start replicating different ideas, right? Stand on the shoulders of giants first. And then after you're able to execute a handful of ideas, then what I would do is then I would start being creative after the fact. Okay, I would give the same suggestion even for music production, like try to recreate other people's songs, build that skill, and then later you can start taking it to a different direction. So when it comes to content, go look at Composerly, go look at who is his name, Seth Everman, the bald guy, dude. Go look at Seth Everman, man. Go try some funny stuff like Seth Everman. Go try some interesting things like YouTube style cuts like Composerly. Go try like maybe more in-depth tutorial like Servita. Go try some cool Instagram content like me and Drew put out. And what you should be doing is you should play it more like a student, trying more at the beginning to learn and replicate other people's ideas later on. And if you do that for enough time, you'll start to think of really great original ideas.
Steven and Drew, thank you very much for everything you do and for starting the Ask Cymatics Show. My question of the day would be, I'm starting a music podcast and I'd like to know, should I be talking throughout the podcast, beginning or end, just a playlist? What do you think?
So you're saying you're starting a podcast, but I'm guessing it's going to be like more of a listening mix radio show type thing. Just from your question saying should you be talking on it? I don't think it's going to be an Ask Cymatics Show type podcast or discussion. What I would say is I would layer as much of your personal brand into it as possible, right? So like a mix is not going to be enough. Like you playing music is not going to be enough. Like, let's be honest. Like right now, if I'm trying to listen to good music, I don't need to come on your podcast to go find something good. Like there's literally thousands and thousands of YouTube channels, Spotify playlists, SoundCloud for me to go solve that problem. It's a commodity at this point, right? But then you say, okay, how can I make this different? Maybe you want to spotlight brand new artists that really aren't big. It's like, okay, that kind of makes it different. And then I would keep doing doing that, but taking it a step further, like what else can make this podcast different? Well, maybe I do entire backstories on the artist before I play their songs, and then people can learn about up and coming artists. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. That's pretty awesome. Maybe you add in interviews in between your songs and stuff to where you feature somebody and then you interview them and then you play a couple of their tracks. Okay, that's taking it a step further. Maybe you want to do maybe more funny stuff where you talk about, EDM news or production news for like, the first 15 minutes of your podcast, and then you play some music. Okay, figure out what's going to make you different, and don't just approach it as a pure, I'm going to play other people's songs, because that's been played out now for over 10 years. The biggest, most important thing is that you really need to find ways to make your show more interesting. And you're talking about, should you talk or not in the podcast? You should probably only talk in the podcast and approach it from a completely different angle. And, maybe you do interviews. Maybe you do, you could theoretically start a show just like Ask Cymatics with your iPhone, and literally just by like doing like Skype interviews or something like that with different producers and stuff, and like putting that out. And that would be more interesting probably than like a music playlist. And don't worry about your equipment per se. I know that, I have some fancy shit, but this doesn't matter. Mr. Beast got 200,000 followers on his iPhone 5. Okay. I think that's very important for everybody to know. Mr. Beast got 200,000 followers on an iPhone 5. There's no excuses. If you hustle it out and take that approach, I think you'll do a lot better.
Hey, Steven. So my question is about social media strategy when you're building your brand. And I haven't even started yet. I'm still on square one. But I know that I'm not a very big social media person. I've just never really posted much on there. And so I know there are brands out there that take advantage of kind of being more mysterious and rely less on consistent daily content. And so I'm just wondering if you think that's just crazy, or if there's still a way that can be an effective strategy in today's social media landscape. Thanks.
All right, Rob, first off, I really, really like that question a lot. And the reason I like that question so much is because everybody gets attracted to being the like mysterious artist figure. Even me and Drew like that idea a lot back in the day. I'm not saying it's not going to work, okay? But what I'm going to say is, in a 2019, 2020 environment, I don't think it's as viable. And the reason I don't think it's as viable is because there's so much about your personal brand that plays to your favor that you really don't want to miss out on. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, go look at a lot of the rappers. Go look at a lot of the people in the hip hop space, especially. Those people are killing it by literally goofy selfie videos. Like the rappers will literally turn on live streams all the time and get like 8,000 people watching live. Okay, they'll put their personal beef, their drama. I'm not saying you should do that, but what I'm saying is those people are winning because of so much personal brand being brought into the mix, and their personality plays a big role in the music. Okay, so when you're somebody when there's a certain storyline to your song, or people have a certain attachment to it, the thing is that they're going to like the music more. Okay, so let's say if you have a song that's a B, if they like their personality, if they like you as a brand and your personality and all that stuff, they're going to consider that song an A. If they don't like you, and let's say they kind of hate you, they're going to consider that song a C. Okay, it's the same song, but it's perceived differently. You don't believe me? Go look at your mom or dad. Okay, your mom or dad are going to like your music more than a stranger would. Okay, it's not all just the song. Okay, versus the kid that hated you in school probably doesn't give a damn. He probably hates your thing. And if you look today, look at like the mute R. Kelly movement. People will not play R. Kelly anymore. Did the song change? No. The brand behind the song changed, and it completely shifted. People don't even want to listen to the music anymore, okay? Think about how powerful it is. Think about that Murder on My Mind track, right? Isn't it weird how the dude has a song called Murder on My Mind? He goes to jail for murder. All of a sudden, it's like, holy crap. Everybody starts playing the song. The song skyrockets on Spotify and YouTube and all that stuff because of those reasons, because of those, I'm not even sure if it's already in court or allegations or where it's at, but because of the backstory of the whole thing, it changed the context of the song. People want to go check it out, right? This backstory thing plays a giant role in people's perception of like the end product, whether that be music or something else. Same thing happened recently with Life, okay? Life has been so successful so fast because me and Drew have been posting constant content, especially Drew's documentation of his journey of recording that pack, getting high quality recordings, going to the beach, going to, different spots in nature, going to waterfalls and recording all that content. That backstory meant a lot to people. So then when they get their pack, this isn't just a pack of nature sounds. This is what Drew literally went out and recorded, and the backstory played a big role in that. So the problem I have with these mysterious brands is that you honestly lose a lot of that. You become limited. You kind of go into that category of, I can only post with this helmet on, or I can only post when I don't show my face. And what that does is that limits your options. That's like saying, hey, I'm going to be making music, but I'm not allowed to use any plugins. That's borderline the same thing in marketing. You know what I'm saying? That same equivalent that's going to handicap you in music production would handicap you in the marketing world. So I'm going to highly suggest against it. I want to go the exact opposite. I want to show less of this artsy side that people try to do. I would suggest not trying to be so like, I'm going to take a picture with like my head down, like looking off camera in the city, like fuck those pictures, right? Like it's the era of social media. I want you to show off more of your personal life, more of your personality. I want you to go meet people in person. I want you to do little meet and greets with your fans or just DM people, like be a really real human being. And I think that real interaction, that real life you that you can bring out will do 10 times more damage than a mysterious brand ever could.
MK6 asks, what is your take on music piracy and how it affects artists?
So I've heard all different kinds of opinions on this, and I think people are trying to listen to the music as easy as possible. When it comes to piracy, if you look at back in the day when you had to pay $1, $2 per song, pirating all of a sudden started to explode because it was easier just to pirate than to pay $1 or $2. And all of a sudden, everybody's pirating everything. You had, LimeWire and all that stuff absolutely exploding. And then what happened is it actually reverted. It went back to like, okay, well, downloading songs in general is kind of annoying. And then all of a sudden it's like streaming, right? So streaming took over the need to download. And then that's when essentially artists kind of lost that revenue from downloads. And now it's all about streaming revenue. Can you repeat the question again?
What is your take on music piracy and how it affects artists?
Yeah. So I think back, there was a period where it played a big role back in the day. People were trying to fight it. Nowadays, I mean, everybody can listen to music for free everywhere. And that's really what you want. You want people to be able to have multiple, like, access to your stuff, because the second you put up a wall, let's say somebody puts up an album they spent years on, but it costs $10, all of a sudden, instead of 20 people listening to your song, only one out of every 20 to 25 people would have listened to it. So then all of a sudden your exposure gets lost. And I think that's the most important thing. So I don't think it affects artists as much these days. And I don't think it's much of a problem because people, rather than pirating music, they would rather just pay $5, $8 a month, $10 a month for Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, YouTube Red, just because the convenience is there. Same thing with movies. People I don't want to sit there and pirate movies. I want to just go on Netflix and fucking pay the $10 a month, $11 a month and be easy. Spending hours trying to collect torrents, that's kind of dated, and I think streaming services essentially dominated pirating.
Grin wants to know, how did you come up with the original business idea for Cymatics?
Yeah, so the original business idea of Cymatics, I like to look at Cymatics as a very interesting come up. So the original idea comes from a lot of different places, first off. Okay, so the original partnership is actually a music group called Origami that me and Drew had. And I actually give a lot of credit to Cymatics, to actually that music group, because me and Drew learned how to work together. We worked together for, a year and a half straight, every single day, like 8 hours a day working together. We learned how to, we learned how to work with each other. We learned what we do like to do, not like to do. We practiced marketing and all this stuff. And essentially, we eventually went our separate ways. There was a period where I actually was trying to figure out why big artists were successful. And I started DMing every single person that got on Majestic Casual because I loved that channel. I wanted to be on that channel. I found every single person. I DM'd them. I messaged them on SoundCloud. I emailed them out. I started cataloging all the answers, and I started diving into behind the scenes of how Flume got big. There was a conference where in 2012 or something where his whole team's talking about how his project works. And I started looking up conferences, music conferences, to find out the inner workings. Then I bumped into different stuff like behind the scenes conferences about just marketing in general. Then I started bumping into these chief marketing officers, and then I bumped into a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk, and I started thinking about internet business, internet marketing as a whole. That's when I decided to take a little break from music, and I tried out a lot of different things, like an organic supplement store. I tried out a marketing company called Nimbus Media. I tried out fucking everything, building websites for local people, because I started getting fascinated with this whole thing that people didn't know how to do, which was internet marketing. I was like, okay, well, all the attention's going on the internet. Why don't more people know how to do this? So I was like, you know what? If I can get my family restaurants and family members, companies to pay me $500 a month, I can make music and make $4K a month. And I was like, if I can get other businesses to pay me $500 to $1,000 a month, I can make a ton of money. And I started like, wait a minute, this is actually kind of cool. Let me just do this. And I took that break from music. I tried a lot of different ideas that failed. During that period, I actually started reconnecting with Drew. he was actually doing some interesting stuff. So he had been, during that time period, he had been going all in on his music project as well. Got really, really good at, this was like the Drew golden era of like learning sound design, really going in, spending long hours in the studio and stuff. So his production skill was getting absolutely crazy. I started learning a lot of the business and marketing side. At the time, Drew was also doing some cool stuff with Instagram. He started an Instagram called Dreadlock Paradise. He got that up to like 40K. He starts playing around social media. I'm starting to play around with stuff. And essentially what happened was, I had a couple friends who were, running those companies with me essentially say, hey, this is not really working out. I think we're going to go our separate ways. At that time period, Drew actually had, we had talked about an idea. It was actually called Toon Turtle. It was an idea to like, sell sounds online or something like that. And then, Drew went ahead and started a site called Cymaticssound.com. I think it was .com or .org, Cymaticssound.com. I still remember the thing. And, it had gotten a couple sales and stuff. And then we also had, and so he had that site. And then we also had the idea of doing a dreadlock bead store. So we're going to order beads from China. The beads cost like 10 cents, but you can resell dreadlock beads for like $1 and like Etsy and stuff. So we're like, cool, we're going to take this. We're going to order this shipment in. We're going to resell these for $1, serve the dreadlock market, do giveaways, all that kind of cool stuff. That was one of our ideas. We also had the idea of doing like a glass site where we were going to sell high-end glass because we saw a lot of glass people on Instagram who were absolutely killing it in that market. Pretty much what happened was that we had looked at all our options, and me and Drew decided to just partner up, go back into the music world. We took down Cymaticssound.com and we just planned, did everything the right way. We set up Cymatics.fm, and Cymatics.fm was born. And that's when we went from zero to making over $100,000 a month within 7 months. And that was a crazy moment for us because we had just hustled our fucking face off in those 7 months. And then we just hit this sweet spot to like being able to, actually, we realized that there was a big problem in the market. We put out more free stuff than any other company, and we still to this day put out more free stuff. We put out content. We built a brand, and that brand has grown even bigger to today with a team of over 40 producers doing a lot of different stuff now, from plugin development, which is in the works, to a show like this, to a lot of different things. And so that's kind of like where the original storyline came from, and the original idea was that whole journey of me and Drew working together, doing our own thing, and then reuniting on this idea. And we had that explosion because one of the things is, I think it's almost like yin and yang. The thing that came together was a high quality product from Drew's dedication to sound design, and then honestly high quality marketing that fucking took the market by storm. And when we combined those two things, it was a really nasty combo. And that's still to this day why a lot of people can't compete, is because they don't have those two things, right? A lot of people have, for example, great music, but they have no way to distribute it, right? A lot of people have great product, but no way to get it out there to people. The secret is, and the reason that a lot of people aren't successful is that they may have one of those pieces, but not both. And when you don't have both, it doesn't really work that well. So we are going to end on that. And I wanted to say, do we have the speaker or headphones? I wanted to say we are giving these away very, very soon. All you have to do is subscribe to the Ask Cymatics Show YouTube channel. And I also wanted to say, take a second to say that, one, thank you for the video questions. I'm just going to give everybody right now. We're starting to get more and more video questions in, so I'm really excited about that. IG Live. I'm still going to answer your question live. Don't worry. Almost forgot. But what I was going to say is that start sending in more of your questions to Ask Cymatics, and we're officially on Spotify and SoundCloud now.
Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play.
Are we on all of them?
We're on all of them. iTunes is pending.
Cool. So we're only pending on iTunes now. Now you can listen to us on Spotify, on SoundCloud, because a lot of people, it's actually easier to listen that way than YouTube channel, because if you don't have YouTube Red, you can't close out of the app and all this kind of garbage. Anyways, highly suggest going to check us out. We will have all the links wherever you're watching this will be in the description of whatever it is. So go check all that out. Subscribe, follow us on Spotify, and put us in that morning ritual. Would really appreciate it. And thanks, guys. And if you have a question that you want to answer, send it in to Ask Cymatics or drop a question on this video. Peace.